Colombia's government and its largest remaining guerrilla group, the ELN, have agreed a temporary truce at the end of a third round of peace talks. The 6-month ceasefire deal was signed by Colombian President Gustavo Petro and National Liberation Army Commander Antonio García in Havana. Negotiations between the sides resumed in August of last year after being terminated in 2019 when the rebels set off a car bomb at a police academy in Bogota. That killed 21 people. The bilateral agreement is the latest attempt to resolve a conflict dating back to the 1960s. And for more, let's speak to DW correspondent Nicole Reese in Bogota. Nicole, how much of a breakthrough is this?
Well, it is a significant breakthrough. This comes off 3 rounds of negotiations with the ELN, who have been in open conflict with the Colombian state for 6 decades. And it is also a nationwide ceasefire. It's not only focusing on one patch of the country, so it is being celebrated as quite a success. And it brings a lot of optimism to people here in Colombia and also to the NGOs who have been fighting for this deal for a long time. So there are positive vibes here at the moment. The deal will kick in on the 3rd of August, which now might sound far in the future still, but as a matter of fact, today it was also announced that preparations need to be in place before it can all start. These preparations see delegations going to the affected areas and involving citizens in this whole process, which was a very important point of the deal. They need to be listened to. There needs to be a really good awareness of what is happening on the ground exactly, because we're talking about remote areas sometimes as well, where the state is not as present as it should be. You also need to talk with the ELN guerrilla on the ground, because it is one thing to sign an agreement in Cuba at the negotiation table, and then the other thing is to operate on the ground. So everybody needs to be in sync before the 3rd of August, and there should be also some de-escalation measures right away. That is at least what was promised today with the announcement, and it sure should bring relief to people who are on the ground living in the affected areas. Let's not forget, we're talking about years and decades of conflict and tens of thousands who were displaced, many thousands who were killed and also have disappeared. So today's announcement is quite significant.
Sorry to jump in there, but I do want to ask you, because ceasefires as well as peace negotiations with the ELN have broken down in the past. So what's different this time around?
There's a promise of this peace process, this ceasefire being monitored, and this gives, at least according to what In the Paz said today, that's an NGO that is also fighting, was also fighting for this deal, gives them some tranquility that things will be better this time. But as a matter of fact, as you mentioned it, these ceasefires in Colombia can be very fragile. Just a few weeks ago, we had a ceasefire that was suspended unilaterally by the government because FARC dissidents killed 4 minors. And also there was a ceasefire attempt a few years ago with the ELN guerrilla, which after a few months was not continued anymore because of conflictivity still being in place. So of course it is a fragile thing to talk about ceasefire in Colombia because of all its history, but the ELN and also the government today said that as long as both sides work respectfully, and after this long period of negotiations, they're quite hopeful that this time they will quite make a difference. If it plays out and pans out well, we need to watch these upcoming weeks.
An important step ahead on a long road towards peace. DW correspondent Nicole Reese reporting from Bogota. Thanks so much.